I've been to do all the work, but I used to have this little scorecard in my mind. I'm like, if I did one thing bad, I'm going to try to do two things good to balance it out. And if I do, then I said, I'm going to go. If I do one thing, then I'm trying to do four things bad. And so it would happen. If I did something bad, suppose this bad thing took away 50% of my blessing. Then I stopped expecting full blessing. I only expected a part of it. That's just crazy. Old Testament says, based on my behavior, God gave me what I gave me based on what I did. You know Deuteronomy 28? Deuteronomy 28. If you obey the word, if you observe and obey the word, all these blessings shall come upon you. Blessed when you be in the city. Fred Hammond do that. I think this do it. I love it. Blessed when you be in the field. Blessed when you come. Blessed when you go. Now we love that part. Verses 1 through 12. Verse 15 says, if you don't obey, all these curses shall come upon you. There's no songs out about that. So Old Testament was based on behavior. 2 Chronicles 7:14. Everybody's heard this at some point. If my people who are called by my name shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face, then they'll hear from heaven. No. God said, so now Old Testament was based on conditions. New Testament unconditional. God says right in Old Testament, God says, I'm going to bless you based on your behavior. God says in the New Testament, I'm blessing you because you believe what Jesus did. Come on, give me that. That idea, the Old Testament, and we keep trying to apply these Old Testament principles, trying to go back, break into the Big Ten. Well, they're not just 10 commandments in the Old Testament. How many were there? 613. And James 2:10 said, if you broke one, you broke how many? So you could have had a good spiritual day and only broken 50 of them. And you're just as guilty as the one that broke them all. Now you think about this, if you're going to be as guilty as breaking them all, some folks are like, well, I'm just going to break them all anyway. The idea is some way you can have this Old Testament principle for New Testament prosperity. So I don't know, maybe y'all would never hear, I used to think that really God was out to get me. That he's on his throne with this long beard and got a lightning bolt. Mess up again. Ready to zap me. Every time I think there's something just ready to zap me. Then, New Testament, now, God is not out to get us, but God is out to set us up for overflow. Come on, somebody. Yeah. God is ready to go back and set us free so we can overcome. He is ready now to set us above so we can overtake the challenge. Like, God is not out to get us. God is out to set us up and set us free and set us so we go forth and be all he called and created us to be. So this old, and I'm telling you, the old way of thinking has done a number on a number of us. Isn't that right? Think about how we felt last year. When we did something wrong, wouldn't come to church, wouldn't pray because we think, well, I can't pray for like a week until it wears off. No, it's still there. Yeah, all these other things that went on, that's Old Testament practices trying to get New Testament prosperity. To understand the context, we must understand the context. How many of us, back to this point, want to have life and enjoy life to the full, to the overflow? Please give God one more hand. Have a praise. Bless you. Give to enjoy life to the full and the overflow. Experience of freedom Jesus made available. Come on, give God one more hand. Experience of freedom. Now, what are we talking about here? So here's what I want to share with us today. From Galatians chapter 5, we read the lesson from today, the entire chapter 1 through 21. But verse 4 of Galatians 5 from the King James talks about falling from grace. How many of us have ever heard this phrase, falling from grace? Falling from grace. Falling from grace. This all has to do with everything we're talking about Old Testament practices, New Testament prosperity, and understanding the context to understand the content. So I want to address 4 questions with us today, very quickly, in the context of our teaching here on this last Sunday this year. Here are the questions. First of all, you said you heard about it. I want you to think about, what does falling from grace really mean? Falling from, just think about that. Then I want to ask you to think about here, can unbelievers fall from grace? I want you to think about it also, can believers fall from grace? And then lastly, what are believers called to do now that we have freedom in Christ? Are you with me on that? So you're not right now, I just want you to think about this. So now I want you to respond to me. So what does fallen from grace mean? I'm not even asking anybody. Fallen from grace, what does fallen from grace mean? Your turn. Fallen from grace, what does it mean? You said you heard about it. What does fallen from grace mean? Fallen from grace mean what? Didn't do the will of God. All right. Out of the will of God. All right. Okay, that's good. Sister now back in the hood, and she got that command. I know somebody else out there say something. What does falling from grace mean? Give me some falling from grace. Give me something else. Out of position. All right. Out of position. Falling from grace. So you agree with me. You've heard this term before. Falling from grace.
Yes.
Okay. So, can unbelievers fall from grace? So this is what, okay. Okay, so, this is what I do in class because, I used to have y'all raise your hand and then some of y'all look at who raised their hand. I can't believe she said that. So this is what we're going to do, like I do in my classroom. If you think that unbelievers can fall from grace, I want your thumb up. If you think they cannot fall from grace, put it down. Nobody can see what you're doing right then. So that way you have to do something. So can believers fall? So again, this is up. They can. This is what. Can unbelievers fall from grace? Put it next to you. Don't waste it all up in the hand. You need to feed the poor. Put it right here on your shoulder. So can unbelievers? Don't say anything. No, Jesus. What you're gonna do is you're gonna put your thumb. If you think they can fall from grace, you thumb up. If they cannot fall from grace, thumb down. Not all up. Let's show you right here. Go back and see it. But can unbelievers fall? This right here. Let's check that door. Like you can't see from behind what's up. So this is right here. So unbelievers they fall from grace. All right. This is no. This is yes. All right. Keep your thumb right there. Can believers fall from grace? He is up. He is down. Okay. Got some teaching to do. All right. So what are we called to do with our freedom in Christ? All right. So let's read this now. So our teaching I told you is from Galatians chapter 5, the entire chapter. And I want you just to read this. We may not spend time even stand up reading this now. Let's read this up here. This is Galatians chapter 5, verse 1. And also 4b as well. Let's read that together. Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Christ has made us free. And be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage. Verse 4, the second part of verse 4 says, ye are fallen from grace. Don't be entangled again with the yoke of bondage. Our message this whole time, this whole month has been, God is invoked, we need his power, his aid. It's given the aid of an authority. We are provoked, stimulated to action, so we can be yoked. So this idea, this yoke of bondage, this yoke was a heavy burden we talked about already. Balance between two scales there. This is what the yoke looked like right there. So it says right here in our text, it says, what does it say again? Don't be entangled again with what? The yoke of bondage. Then it goes on to say that you are fallen from grace. Now what do you think fallen from grace would mean? What do you think it means? Don't stand fast in liberty. Christ has made you free. Don't be entangled again with the yoke of bondage. It says you're fallen from grace. What do you think it means now? Fallen from grace. We'll give some other things. What do you think it may mean? Maybe the same thing you said, but what do you think it may mean? Fallen from grace means what?
Tangled in the yoke.
Tangled in the yoke. All right. Yep. Okay. All right. So okay. All right. Yoked up, tangled up. So what does fallen from grace really mean then? All right. So now look at it. When we fall from something, don't you have to fall to something? You don't just fall. You fall from a tree to the ground. You're falling to. All right. So if you're falling, if it's fallen from grace, I don't know how many of y'all ever been on these little exercises like you're supposed to be team building, and you stand up here and hold your hand, and the people behind you supposed to catch you. Be careful. They start talking, you go boom. So we're falling from something. So we've fallen from grace to what then? If we fell from grace, what we fall to? What we fall to? Unbelief? Everybody we good on that? That's the universal answer? No. Okay, what's another answer then? I just love it. I just love y'all. I don't know what the answer is, but I know it's not that. So falling from grace to what? All right, so here we go. Now let's read it. Okay, so you are fallen from grace. All right, so first, does fallen from grace mean that we've fallen away from God's love and his mercy? Okay. Does falling from grace mean we've fallen into sin? It says don't be entangled again with the yoke of bondage. It says don't be entangled again with the yoke. This yoke is burdensome, this oppressive, this subjugated yoke. Don't be entangled again with the yoke of bondage. So could it be that one? All right, y'all. Okay. What about this one? Does fallen grace mean that that people have backslidden? Yeah. All right. So I'm going to say right here. So here's a question. I just got a little side note. This little can somebody who is really, truly, and fully saved backslide?
Yes.
I said, can somebody who is fully saved, truly saved, really saved, can they backslide?
Yes.
So you telling me somebody who is saved, for real, can backslide? That's what you're telling me. You tell me somebody who's trusted in the Lord, it can now, because they believe in what Jesus did on the cross, that person can backslide. You know, it's a simple yes or no question, right? So here's the point. So y'all remember when Michael Jackson moonwalked? That was backsliding. He go back. He went back. So when you go back to your way. So the idea was now. Let's be clear about this. This is the 7 points of all. So when we are a what? We are a spirit. We possess a soul. We live in a body. When we got saved, what got changed? Spirit. So our spirit is just like Jesus. As soon as we believe in Jesus, and just like Jesus. 1 John lets us know, as Jesus was in this world, so are we. Flesh, the body over here is still here. But right here in the middle, give me about the soul again. What's the soul again? The me out is the what? Mind, emotion, opinion, will. When we got saved, did our mind automatically change? When we got saved, did our opinions automatically change? So our spirit got instantaneously changed. But look what happened. Let me give you this verse from our saying. Read this with me from Galatians 5:17 NASB. Same chapter. Let's read this together. For the flesh sets itself against the spirit. The flesh being the body. Keep going. And the spirit against the flesh. For these are in opposition one another, so that you may not do the things you wish. So what do we have here? So if the spirit is here and the flesh is here, the flesh is always wanting to do what's counter to the spirit. And right here in the middle is the soul. The soul again is our what? Our mind, our emotions, our opinions, So if somebody got saved and their spirit got changed and they did not renew their mind, they're going to keep doing the same thing they already did. Isn't that right? If they're in opposition, the spirit is over here, the flesh is over here, and if the spirit says tithe, and the flesh is going to say spend. If the spirit says pray, the flesh over here says cooks. So at some point, the idea is, and right here in the middle is the soul. So the best thing that somebody unsaved can do is to get saved. But the best thing somebody who is saved can do is do what? Renew our mind. So when my mind starts getting renewed and I start getting into the Word and believing the Word and trusting the Word, then my mind is going to line up with my spirit. And now we can bring the flesh along. But if I don't renew my mind, all this stuff I got saved, look at my hands, they look new, they ain't look new. Now at some point I got to make sure that my mind starts lining up with the Word. If I don't renew my mind, I'm going to keep on acting over here. I'm going to keep on acting like before I got saved. So that's what happens. So you got a lot of people that come in, confess Jesus in a church on a Sunday, and then three weeks later they don't see them anymore. They were really saved for real, but their mind didn't get renewed. And even though they were really and fully and completely saved, they can go backslide and live a life like they weren't saved before. So I'm good on that. So somebody who is saved, got you. I'm telling you, I want to stress the importance of us being in the Word continuously. to have our minds renewed. Because the Spirit already believes what God said. The Spirit already says at this point I'm already healed. The Spirit says I'm already broken through. I got to start training my mind to line up with the Word.